You just moved money into your emergency fund and felt a small sense of relief. Not excitement, relief, like you'd done something responsible enough to quiet the anxiety for another month. You didn't celebrate, you just exhaled. And then, almost immediately, a new question crept in. Is this enough? You tell yourself you're prepared. You did what everyone said to do. You built the fund. You followed the rules. You're not reckless. You're not impulsive. You're the kind of person who plans ahead. And yet, when you really sit with it, the fear doesn't go away. It just changes shape. Because deep down, you know something isn't adding up. You look at the number and try to reverse engineer your life around it. How long would this actually last if something broke? If you lost your job? If someone got sick? You do the math once, then again, then you stop because it makes your chest feel tight. You don't say this out loud, but the emergency fund doesn't make you feel safe. It makes you feel frozen. At first it was empowering. A few $100s set aside, then a few thousand. Every deposit felt like progress. You felt ahead. You felt like you were finally growing up financially. But over time, something subtle happened. You started saying no to opportunities because you didn't want to touch it. You stayed in situations longer than you should have because at least you're stable. You tolerated stress, bad bosses, stagnant pay, because the emergency fund became the thing you were protecting instead of the thing protecting you. The emergency fund is supposed to buy you freedom, but for most people, it quietly becomes a leash. There's the car repair you paid for without panic, and that felt good. But then there's the raise you didn't negotiate because uncertainty felt scarier than being underpaid. There's the idea you had, the side project, the move you considered, and then dismissed. Because what if something happens? You weren't lazy, you were cautious, you weren't unambitious, you were responsible. And that's how the trap works. Nobody calls it a trap, they call it prudent behavior. 6 months of expenses, 12 if you can. Park it somewhere safe, don't touch it, ever. But what they don't explain is what that money is really doing to your psychology. Because once you build it, you don't feel free. You feel like you're guarding something fragile. You stop seeing money as a tool and start seeing it as a buffer you're terrified to lose. This is where it gets interesting. The emergency fund slowly turns everything into a potential emergency. Healthcare costs, job insecurity, rent hikes, family obligations. The fund isn't a bridge, it's a dam holding back constant pressure, and you're the one standing in front of it hoping it doesn't crack. You were never taught to ask a different question. Not how much should I save, but what kind of life am I preparing for? Not am I safe, but what am I giving up to feel safe? The system doesn't want you mobile. It wants you stable, predictable, afraid of disruption, afraid of risk, afraid of change. The emergency fund, when misunderstood, is a perfect tool for that. You're told it's for peace of mind, but peace of mind that depends on not moving, not changing, not challenging anything isn't peace, it's containment. Think about the person making good money with a solid emergency fund who still feels trapped in a job they hate. Think about how many people have 6 figures sitting in cash while their lives stay exactly the same. Think about how often I can't risk it is really I don't trust myself without a safety net. This isn't about being reckless, it's about understanding what safety actually costs. The people who build real leverage often don't feel safe at first. They feel exposed, uncomfortable, slightly behind the curve. Not because they're irresponsible, but because they're using their resources to change their position, not preserve it. There's a person with a perfectly sized emergency fund, steady income, and zero momentum. Year after year, nothing changed. Then there's another person who used part of their safety to buy time, to create options, to move closer to income they controlled. Their bank balance looked worse right before their life got better. The emergency fund is not the goal. It's a phase, a tool, a temporary state. But when you're taught to worship it, you stop progressing. You stop optimizing for growth and start optimizing for preservation. You become excellent at avoiding downside and terrible at creating upside. You don't make bold mistakes, but you also don't make bold moves. You start living in what feels like adulthood but is really a holding pattern. The fund that was supposed to protect you from fear becomes the reason fear runs the show. Nobody told you this because nobody benefits from you realizing it. A person who feels safe enough won't rock the boat, won't ask for more, won't leave, won't build alternatives. Keep consuming, keep working, keep saving, quietly. Safety is not a number, it's a system. Real safety doesn't come from a pile of cash sitting still. It comes from adaptability, from income you can influence, from skills that travel with you, from knowing that if something breaks, you're not just surviving on stored energy, you're capable of generating more. This is where the emergency fund myth collapses. If your entire sense of security depends on money you can't touch, you're not secure. You're brittle. and brittleness breaks under pressure. A person with a large emergency fund who still spiraled when they lost their job, not because they ran out of money, but because they built their identity around stability. Someone who had less saved, but more confidence in their ability to create value. They moved faster, adapted faster, took action instead of freezing. The difference wasn't discipline, it was orientation. Money either gives you options or it gives you excuses. The emergency fund can do either. Most people are taught the wrong framing. They're taught to build it and stop thinking, to treat it as a finish line, to equate not being in danger with being okay. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You can be financially responsible and still be financially stagnant. You can be safe and still be stuck. You can do everything right and still lose time you'll never get back. And time is the only thing this system never refunds. Imagine two paths 5 years from now. On one path, your emergency fund grew, slowly, safely. You felt responsible every month, but your life looks the same. Same stress, same ceiling, same quiet anxiety. On the other path, your emergency fund dipped at times. You felt exposed, uncomfortable, but your skills expanded. Your income sources diversified. Your confidence shifted from "I hope nothing happens" to "I can handle what happens." That difference compounds. This isn't about emptying your safety net. It's about understanding what it's for. Hoarding safety without direction can be just as dangerous as having none. The people who win don't eliminate risk. They decide which risks are worth taking. They don't ask how to avoid discomfort. They ask which discomfort leads somewhere. The emergency fund should support movement, not replace it. It should give you permission to act, not a reason to stay put. If it doesn't do that, it's not serving you. It's controlling you. The idea of "be prepared for emergencies" sounds neutral, but it subtly trains you to expect collapse, to plan for breakdown instead of building momentum, to see the future as a threat, not an opportunity. When enough people think that way, the system becomes very stable, for everyone except the people inside it. So here's the part you don't want to hear, but need to. If your emergency fund makes you afraid to change, it's already costing you more than it's protecting. If you're optimizing for not losing instead of creating leverage, you're playing defense forever. And defense never wins games, it only delays loss. 5 years from now, you won't regret not having one more month of expenses saved. You'll regret the move you didn't make, the skill you didn't build, the risk you didn't take because you were guarding a number instead of building a life. This isn't permission to be reckless. It's an invitation to be honest. Honest about what you're actually afraid of. Honest about what safety really means. Honest about whether your money is working for you or keeping you in place. You can keep treating the emergency fund like a shrine, untouchable, sacred, and quietly let it define the size of your life. Or you can treat it like a tool, something that supports movement, growth, and change. One path feels calm today and heavy tomorrow. The other feels heavy today and calm later. Nobody's coming to exclaiming to give you permission. Wall Street won't warn you because the trap works too well. The question isn't whether the emergency fund is good or bad. The question is this: is it protecting your future or protecting you from becoming someone different? Your move. If this changed how you see your emergency fund, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it.